Hello! So this week's video I am going to cover stuff to do with parents. So when you think about it realistically, our first love was our parents. Our first idea and understanding of love come from our first example of that, and that is our mum and dad. How we saw them relating to one another will have impacted us, and the vibration and frequency that we were raised in will impact us, and the patterns and behaviours of our parents would have definitely impacted us. And what I'm going to talk you through is a really powerful exercise that helps you to understand what patterns and programs you have actually inherited from your parents. And the idea of this is this: when you have an intellectual understanding of, okay, right, when I act like this, and we're going to go through the whole list of it and you'll understand what I mean, like there's loads of different patterns and programs you can get. But in your head, when I act like this, when you catch yourself, so you're like, ooh, that's my mum, I inherited from my mum because of the work that we're going to do, then it, over time, when you keep catching yourself and you keep stopping and going, right, that's my mum, oh, that's my dad, that's this, then what happens is you disidentify with that behaviour pattern because you see that it has been inherited and you have literally just copied, replicated it from your childhood. And it's really powerful, and it will not be an overnight thing. It will be a continuous thing, probably until you die. I am still now catching myself being my mum, which is really interesting because in my head I tended to try and be anything but my mum. But yet there is so many things that I am like my mum. So these negative love patterns, the reason why you've adopted them from such an innocent young age from your parents is because you were seeking their love, acceptance and approval. And by mirroring them, it was your way of being like them, being at the same vibration so that you could try and receive their love and their acceptance. And it's unconscious programming that we then carry on into our adult life. And we use it subconsciously to seek love, attention, approval, acceptance from the outside world. This be in romantic relationships, friendships, and when we bring our conscious awareness to them, what it enables is us to be more of our authentic selves. And then we're going to attract friendships and romantic relationships that are more aligned to who we really are, opposed to who we have pretended to be to seek love and attention from our parents. Next to this, patterns and programmings and conditions and stuff is frequency and vibration. So it's all very well me explaining it on an intellectual level, but I just want to make it clear that on an energy level, this is what I want you to understand. So imagine this: you've just been born, you've come into this world, everything is fresh, everything is new, you don't even know that you have been separated from your mother. You don't even know that, we can't see until like a good few weeks. Even then everything's black and white and it's all blurry. You have just come out of the womb. You don't even know you've come out of the womb. And you still are feeling this energy of this womb, the womb man that you grew in. So the energy and the frequency and vibration of your mother at birth is all you would have known for the last 9 months whilst you were obviously in gestation. And whatever frequency your mum was feeling, whatever she was thinking, would have moulded your vibration. It would It's all resonance. You can actually look at certain emotions like love and joy and hatred, and you can, I don't know how, you don't ask me, but I've seen that they can actually measure the vibration of it. So I think love is like 500 hertz, and you know, down the line obviously it's lower vibration, maybe the low vibration energies and stuff like hate, guilt and stuff. So your vibration, your actual matter of you as a baby will be vibrating at the resonance of your mother, because that is what you grew from. And look at it like this: if you had a flower or a plant and you were watering it, beautiful spring water, then, and it was beautiful soil, then the plant is going to grow beautifully. But if the soil, you know, isn't very nourished, it's, you know, shit soil, you're not watering it hardly any, and if you are, it's shit water, then the flower is going to not be as best as it could be. And it's the same with the womb. When our mothers have been stressed and stuff like that, we can actually hold on to the vibration of any disharmony that she was going through while she was pregnant with us. So this explains the concept of ancestral healing, is that sometimes, as mad as it may be, sometimes these energies that are within our being that need to be processed and felt and released can actually be from a time that we don't even remember. It could, and if your mum grew in her mum's womb and she wasn't in a very good place, then it, you know, we can actually go back and do all this energy clearing, because it's the resonance, the vibration that has been passed on to us, and any trauma would have been passed on to us. It's the vibration and the energy. So that is with the womb side of it, but it goes on even further, and this is where the first 3 years of our life are the most important time developmentally for us as human beings. So the first 3 years of our life, it is most important that we create this connection and this bond with our mother. So we've just been born, we've come into this world, all we know is this energy of this womb man, and she needs to be there to make us feel safe, because that's all we know, as much as possible. And then as we grow up and we start getting a little bit more independent and, you know, walking, crawling around, our mother needs to be there for when we need her. We need to be, the woman needs to be emotionally available for her children, present. Gabor Mate is a brilliant speaker. He talks about addictions and trauma from childhood. If you're interested in delving into this subject a little bit more, I'd highly recommend looking at some of his stuff. He's really cool the way he speaks about it. So it's all to do with vibration. So in the first 3 years of our life, if our mother was preoccupied with being hurt and upset over a cheating father, we would have felt all that energy. If our mum and dad were arguing all the time and stuff like that, we would have felt that energy. And it would then make that energy normal for us, because that is what we know. Going on to another example, if our mum was an alcoholic and a drunk, that vibration, especially because it's attached to the mother, the first 3 years is the mother, after that it's sort of, there's father bonding, it needs to go, and then later on it's peers and finding yourself in society. You know, there's loads of developmental stages, but what impacts us the most when we're older is this first 3 years, which the reason why it impacts us the most is because it is all unconscious. As a child, we don't understand anything. We are fresh, we are new, we have just come into our body. Our soul has just come into our body, or our consciousness. Our soul and consciousness is the same thing. Well, ish. And we don't understand anything. All we do is we feel, and we're trying to gather our way around, and we watch our mum and we watch our dad, and we feel our mum and we feel our dad through the vibration that they are letting off. And it is those traits and those patterns, those vibrational waves, that we would then adopt within our being with no intellectual understanding. As a child, there's no way of going, that's interesting that mummy's shouting at daddy. That's not right, because we don't know right from wrong. All we know is what we see, and that becomes our reality. So that's why it's so important to really do this analysing work, and it was so powerful for me. I can't explain how powerful it was, that I just kept catching myself. I was like, oh my God, that's my mum. Oh my God, that's my dad. Oh my God, that's my mum, my dad. And I just kept catching myself. And what was so powerful about it is that it took my identification and my association with this negative pattern, and it took me out of it. So I wasn't the negative pattern. I wasn't just, excessive cleaning or excessive worrying, whatever it might be. I saw the behaviour as something separate to me, because it didn't belong to me. It was something that I had mirrored and copied from my mum. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you get just as a powerful experience. Again, this experience is only going to be as powerful as the work that you put in. What happens is, another thing from our childhood is we go on to create stories about who we are, and identify with them based on childhood experiences. There is normally a time in our life, well, there is times in our life, normally from childhood, adolescence, and then as an adult, where something traumatic would have happened to us. And by traumatic, I don't mean like, really like you've had a car crash or all that. That could be one of them, but it could be your parents splitting up, it could be moving house, changing schools. Something happened, and then we made a decision based on that thing that happened that would protect us from whatever that thing was that hurt us, from ever getting hurt in the same way again in the future. And then what we do is we change who we are because of it. My example I'd like to give, an example, was, this is something, it's something really silly, but you'll be so surprised what it is. And I only just worked this out now doing all this course, because I had come up with other things that I'd changed. I'd worked through that, and now I'm plucking new things out of it. So when I was younger and I was at a play school, so that would have been like 3, 4 or something. Before, you go to school at like 5, don't you? I was at play school, and I remember, and I don't know why, I've got an idea. For some reason, I didn't like my name. I didn't like Tyler, and I wanted to change my name, and I wanted to change it to Material. I don't know why, because it's not a name. I wonder if around the time Madonna's Material World, I don't know if that was out there, and that was sort of my idea, that I was like, yeah, I like that, I want to be called Material. I really don't know. It's funny because I later on loved Madonna, so it could be subliminal programming, but I wanted to be called Material. And I said to my Mum, I really want you to write a letter to my nursery teacher, because I want everybody to start calling me Material. And my mum wrote this letter, and at the prime age of, it must have been like 3, 4, I've gone in with this envelope, and I remember it, and I gave it to my teacher, and she read it out to the rest of the class. So we're all sitting around like story time, and she's got this letter, and she's like, I'm going to read this out. My name is Talia, and I'm a very silly girl because I want to change my name to Material, and this is really silly, and I've made my mum write this letter, and blah blah blah. And the whole classroom laughed at me, and in that moment, I felt embarrassed, felt a lot of shame, and yeah, and I think from that moment on, I decided that I wasn't good enough for some reason. It also stemmed from my dad leaving as well. So I just developed this whole concept of not being good enough, which I then later on realised when I was doing Landmark Forum and the Hoffman process, that this was the underlining back story that I carried through my life, is not being good enough. And I then went about proving to myself how I wasn't good enough in getting with guys who would never see my worth. They would never see how enough I was, because this was a story that I was projecting out into the world, albeit very, very, very unconsciously, and having been created back, you know, in my infancy. So I invite you to try and list, and again you can do this take as long as you want with it. Try and list as many memories from your childhood as possible, and yeah, because you can maybe have a little look and see if these experiences need healing, if you got an idea from them that changed your story and who you felt you was, and just have a bit of reflection, really. I just wanted to add and share with you one of the things that I learned on one of the relationship workshops that I attended, and this was the concept that our childhood, we almost can look at it like a script, like there's a certain play that's playing out in it. It's the frequency that we felt as a child. And what we do is we grow up to seek to replicate this same environment energetically, vibrationally, but what we're really wanting subconsciously is for it to be different, so for it to be a better result than what we had when we were children. So we will attract people, either people that are like our parents, or we will attract people based on us acting like our parents, who we then expect them to be completely different. But how can they? Because the vibration that we've used to attract them is the vibration of this script that we had in our childhood. So this is why this work, you know, is so important on so many levels, because it makes you really see how these patterns and behaviours from your childhood that you've attracted and adopted have completely moulded not only who you are, but what your relationship choices are. And yeah, when we can begin to make more conscious, compatible love choices, then we can get better results and outcomes.